You know what? I wasn't going to make another bloodbending video because I just made one like a day or two ago. And I thought it was too soon. But I got an idea that I should kind of teach a little bit on the subject instead of just saying that I'm going to learn it and that everything's going to be dandy and wonderful. So, a few things that people, if they're going to think about doing this, should learn before they think about doing this is, one, a very useful tactic I learned in class, believe it or not, is we had to write down on a piece of paper that we are going to be successful 5 to 10 times. And as I was writing it down, and we only had a certain amount of time to do it, so as I was writing it down, I felt like I was going to be successful. Now, then I thought, if I could convince myself that I could do anything by doing this, then I could probably convince myself that I'm able to bloodbend. So as I was writing, I'm able to bloodbend. I can learn this. I'm able to do this. I can give myself confidence. Anything, you can do it. Just, the thing is, with your subconscious, you're able to do anything. With your conscious mind is your reality. It's everything you see in front of you. It's how the table is solid. It's your vision. It's what you see, what you've been taught your whole life, everything. So when you're changing your reality, changing how you think about things, it's hard to do that because you've been wired your whole life to have a reality of this is solid. These things are hard. These things are soft. This can't do this. This can't move. This is basic things. Basic things. So it's hard. It's hard to change those things that you've been taught. But they've told in fiction, bloodbending is a fictional thing. It's from a show, a TV show. But telekinesis and telepathy are from movies and TV shows, and people have done them. I've done them. I haven't done telekinesis, but I've done telepathy. And the first thing you need to know is that you have to convince yourself it works. You can't tell yourself that, oh, it works, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, it works. That's not going to work. You have to actually know that it works. You have to tell your brain that it works and know that it works. You can't try to convince yourself. You have to know that it works. For sure. So writing it down a bunch of times on a piece of paper, eventually you're going to get it in your head. It's going to change a little bit. And over time you have to tell yourself permanently that it's that. So you grow up your whole life being a skeptic of these things, and then you can make them happen, which is amazing. That's why I believe bloodbending can actually happen, because all these things we've been told can't happen have happened, which is amazing. So another thing you need to learn about bloodbending is you need to learn human anatomy. You need to learn how blood flows through the human body, how the heart works, because the heart is what pumps blood through the body. You need to know, basically, in the TV shows, both shows, the first one and the second one, it both took the characters years to learn bloodbending. They didn't learn it overnight. It took them like 5 years and more to learn bloodbending. Why? I'll tell you why. Because everything takes practice. When you don't practice something, it goes away. When you do practice something over and over and over again, it gets stronger. That's with working out. I know, my arms aren't that big, but I work out every single day because I try to stay healthy. That's with working out, that's with eating healthy, that's with doing sports, studying. Everything you practice at, you'll get better at. If you start something and say, oh, I'm not good at this, that's where the, how I call faith and biokinesis kick in. The mental, you can also call it mentalism, I call it that. My dad, growing up, my dad would always tell me, Cody, it's all in your head. Because it was. All the things my mom especially would do, she would go, when there was a speck of dust in the room, she would see it and go, and she would go into an asthma attack. If we sprayed perfume, my sister, or if I sprayed anything like hairspray or something, she wouldn't see it and no problem. If I sprayed it and she saw it, she would go and cough like crazy because it's a mental thing. Anything you tell your brain can do or can't do, it will be able to do or it won't be able to do. You tell your brain, you make your own destiny. You tell your brain what it can and can't do. You make your own reality. You make your own destiny. You tell yourself you can't talk to people. You can't talk to people. You tell yourself you're antisocial. You're antisocial. You tell yourself you're ugly. You'll be ugly. You're quiet. You're quiet. You're loud. You're loud. I think you're getting it now. So, when you tell yourself constantly that you can bloodbend, eventually you may be able to do it. When I have in the past, when I was practicing electrokinesis and it was getting really strong, there was one thing I was able to do, and that was this. When I was trying to direct current through my body, and I did electrokinesis for probably a month, and by the end of the month it got really strong, and it scared me because it was dangerous. It was destroying all my electronics. Everything was getting fucked up. My computer was getting fucked up. And when I was doing this, I could still do it, I can feel the current go through my body. And when I say current, I mean the waves that travel to your brain when you do anything. All you're doing is directing the current. Now, it can be the exact same thing, but instead of you doing it to yourself, you'll do it to someone else. But it'll be stronger, and you'll be controlling their movements. Now, in the show Avatar, when they're bloodbending, what they're doing is they're controlling the electric signals from the brain to the parts of the body. They're also controlling the blood that circulates from the heart through the arms, the legs, the head. And in the second Avatar show, when he puts the finger on the front part of here, and their eyes go like this, they fall over, they get back up. A girl made a really good point about this. I love it. It's so funny when people analyze cartoons. But she actually made a really good point because she went all scientific into it, and I like it when people get all into they don't relate it to God or religion, they relate it to something scientific. And this actually made sense. So when he touches this part of the pituitary gland, the third eye, the pineal gland, this is where the pituitary and pineal gland are near and located. When you do this, near this area of the brain, you can cause a clog or a stroke. So when they're doing that in the show and their eyes go like this and then they fall over, she made a good point and said that they're potentially causing a stroke to the character, and the character is losing their ability to bend water, bend air, bend earth, and control those things because they're giving them a stroke. And it would make a lot of sense because they're messing up the brain. It makes a lot of sense. So if you could learn how to do that, you would be so overly powerful. But anyone can actually do that, because if you rub someone's pineal gland right here, you will make them very tired. The real thing, all you have to do really is send enough current, enough electromagnetic waves to this point of your thumb, enough to where, because I've made, when I was touching electronic, I made a little bit of a spark come out. If you can make a spark, because people have, if you can make a spark come out while you're touching this part of someone's head, you could potentially cause a stroke or shock someone so hard here that they will fall over and maybe go into a seizure, or maybe it could be bad. So you could do that. It wouldn't be blood bending, but you would paralyze someone for maybe a long time, permanently, or a short amount of time. It's dangerous. So blood bending is potentially electrokinesis. Because either way, signals are sent from your brain throughout your body. So you could control someone through the signals or through the blood, because both things are pumped throughout your body. Another thing with, since I studied human anatomy for a short amount of time, but I studied nutrition more, when there's a blood clot, you could cause a blood clot. If you knew blood bending, you could cause a blood clot in the brain. The reason they touch here is because that's where the pineal gland is. If in the show he touched like this, he would disable balance and hearing. Yeah. And if he touched in the back of the head, he would disable motor skills. And funny, if he would have, in the show, touched right here, he would have made you into a child again. Because that's where you're, when you get drunk, this part of the brain is blocked. But either way, if your brain is damaged in any way, anywhere, you could go into a seizure or a stroke. Because when a neuron is misfired, that's a seizure. I know, because I have epilepsy. This video has gone on longer than I thought it would, and I'm going to end it so I can go back to doing pull-ups. So, bye everyone. I got kind of off track a little bit. Hope this helped a little bit. Have a good day. I'll update again when I have a lot more information on this, and hopefully something happens. How can I end this video in a good way? Yeah. Oh, and your leg falls asleep. It becomes numb, not because lack of blood to your leg. It's because electromagnetic waves are not in your leg at the time. Your leg falls asleep because there's no signals throughout your leg, so it's just dead, pretty much. So blood bending wouldn't have to do with that. It would have to do with... So you're better off learning electrokinesis. Okay, bye. Like, rate, and subscribe. Do it.